Welcome to the World United. Welcome to the World United.
To the panel now, I welcome all our speakers. Welcome Isaac, David, Rashid, Aldwin, and Christopher. So Isaac, I know you have talked about a part of your lives. This is not the whole thing, but Isaac, you talked about how to create an optimal body, like an optimal machine to live this. And David, you talked about accessing the optimal vitality. And Rashid talked about the optimal response to emergency situations and how we can be responsible. And Aldwin talked about, optimum branding or reaching out, optimal marketing. Christopher talked about, being in an optimal creative spot so that you can unleash that creativity in your organization. My question to you is, you all have touched upon this in your speeches, in your talks, but I want to go a little deeper. That we all, everyone who's watching here, on YouTube, everyone has a kind of plan, has a kind of goal. They are on their path to discovering who they are. However, the future is so uncertain. We have all experienced how uncertain. We have experienced it collectively during the pandemic, and we experience even in our personal lives, in our organization, how unpredictable things are, how uncertain. And when this uncertainty and chaos comes in, whether it's in our personal life, whether it is something collectively, whether it is on all these different scales, how do we then come to our optimal point? So what would you like to share? We can just go around, whoever would like to share. And yes, Isaac.
I've lived by a philosophy by the poet Rumi, and especially my move from Melbourne to Queensland was stopped over and over again. And every single time there was a block in the road, it worked in my favor. And so Rumi's philosophy is live life as though everything is rigged in your favor. And ever since I've adopted that a few years ago, anytime anything seems to go wrong, I just say, beauty, this is going to work out really well. Always does. So that's, you just, no matter what happens, you can just roll with it, especially with the whole pandemic-y thing and the uncertainty, then the anxiety, the fear, you just say, it'll work out because, well, for all of us here, very entrepreneurial, very positive thinking, but for people who just feel lost, and I say, just put that up on your wall and trust it, and gives them that sense of, yeah, we'll work out.
Okay, so you have them acknowledge it and then make it work. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, so it's where I say, so where's the benefit? Like nothing, okay, accidents happen, but when things go wrong or things don't go the way to plan, like maybe it wasn't meant to be, look at what you can do and how it is actually rigged in your favor. So you look, instead of looking down, it's really bad. It's like that, look up what opportunities are there, how can I grow, what's this roadblock about? So many, you hear it thousands of times, people say, even though a horrible time with COVID, but to stop and reassess my life, that's been massive for people.
Thank you, Isaac. Thank you for that message.
I'd love to add to that. I love what Isaac said there. There's a great question you can ask yourself. Instead of why has this happened to me, ask how has this happened for me, right? There's always a gift in every situation. It's like the yin yang of life, right? We have the dark forces, we have the light forces. Which way are you going to choose to focus your life? Now, I've been doing a fair bit of quantum work lately and looking at something called Dr. Hawkins' scale of consciousness. Now, if you haven't heard of it, look it up. Dr. Hawkins' scale of consciousness. It talks about we are 99.9% energy and frequency. This is scientifically proven, right? So when we get into love and above, which is love, joy, peace, enlightenment is the highest vibration you will feel as a human being, which is 700 plus. However, coming into love and gratitude is so incredibly powerful, which is why the Global Good News Challenge is really powerful too, is when you speak out gratitude, when you look in your life at the things you can be grateful for despite what's going on in the world. And in fact, look at the challenges in life as a way to find gifts, right? There's always breakthroughs at the end of every breakdown. Now, when we are vibrating when we're in fear, which right now the world is vibrating between 75 to 100 hertz. 100 hertz is fear. Fear and below, we've got anger, we've got sadness, shame and guilt are two of the lowest vibrations we will feel as human beings. Shame is at 20 hertz. Guilt is at 30 hertz. Okay, so just get conscious. Half the thing I think is to have optimum performance is actually just get conscious to how you're doing life. You know, are you grateful for the phenomenal, amazing person that you are? You know, we've beaten about 1 billion swimmers just to get to the finish line by being born, right? We are extraordinary just by being born. There's a reason you are here on the planet right now. And if you are feeling depressed and despondent, it's most likely because you are not living a life of joy. So look at what is it in your life that gives you joy? What is it that lights you up, that fills your cup? Right? Look for those things and do more of those things, whether it be going to the beach or doing yoga or meditating or whatever it is. You know, look at how you can love yourself more. And as you love yourself more and do more of what you love, that love will automatically flow to your family, your friends, your community, and the ripple effect will create a more inspired, beautiful world.
Totally agree.
Thank you so much for that vibrational message, Aldwin. I think you speak. You vibrationally speak for a lot of us. Thank you.
Oh, it's so important just to get conscious where we've been unconscious, you know, and there's nothing wrong. Also, not beating yourself up about this too. Actually, just get, hey, it is what it is. Life is where it is. Life up until now has got me to this point. Now, what do I want to create for my future? You still have an amazing life ahead of you. It's never too late to start on this journey if you don't feel you're there right now, right? Just, you know, draw the line in the sand and go, right, that's it. I want to live an amazing life now. And if it's to be, it's up to me, as they say, you know, and surround yourself by an amazing environment of people as well. You know, I think that's really crucial as well. I have phenomenal people around me, and I think keeping that great environment is crucial to help you on the journey as well.
Thank you. Thank you. Christopher, David?
Yeah, I'd love to add to that as well, because like, you know, I think Steve Jobs said, you can't see anything looking forward, but looking back, you can connect the dots. And with me, there's been like 4 big instances where I thought it was the worst time in my life, but then you look back and that changed your trajectory of life. Like I said that I played football and I played lower grades with South Sydney. I suffered 2 knee reconstructions. So I thought, man, and that was when I was like 19. And all of a sudden my football career was over. But then it sent me off in a different direction. It sent me off into arm wrestling, which I snapped my arm doing arm wrestling. I was on my way to do some professional tournaments over in America. My arm went paralyzed and I thought, oh, shit, another thing gone. But then everything sort of, you can see it as it tacks along. Then, like, I'm a competitive guy. So I got into martial arts, which eventually led me to wrestling and cage fighting, which that also changed my direction as well. Once I met my wrestling coach, that just opened up my life with just the way of thinking, the philosophy that you learn through the tough times and through wrestling in particular has changed my life in ways that I would never have even imagined if that first injury, second injury, third injury had never happened. So it's what I've found is you learn more about yourself, your resilience, your attitude when you come up against bad times. We're all going to come up against it. That's what makes us human. It's how we deal with it determines how we are. And you can take the good side, you can take the bad side, or you can be dead flat in the middle. I know which one I'd rather choose, the positive side, because like I said, we're all existing in this. So make the most out of it. It's a joy while we're here.
Thank you for that uplifting message, David. Yes, Christopher?
Okay, I'll try not to echo everybody else. But while I agree, it's interesting, while I agree with the sentiment, I think it's always worthwhile. There's a fine line between being positive and being avoidant. And often when we face difficulties, you know, we can say, oh, well, what's the positive here? It's like, well, there are feelings like grief and heartbreak and loss and spite and jealousy that's often worth sitting in for a moment to understand how this makes you feel and how this makes you behave. Because if you just want to jump out of it, it's like sitting in a bath, you know, you get hot, you kind of want to jump out. But if you sit in it for a little bit, you learn a bit about yourself. And often this is valuable, you know, and you'd rather learn this and develop this sort of resilience and awareness early on than be 30s, 40s professional, you know, suffer your first heartbreak or rejection or whatever else. And you just lack any sort of emotional maturity or resilience around this. So absolutely agree with the sentiment of to adapt intelligently, to have emotional intelligence, to choose. I think one of the Stoics said, you know, if life offers me, you know, two choices, I'll take the better half, you know, and that's the approach that we should all sort of take. But I'm just always conscious in the room of super positive people when it's like, yeah, just choose this thing. Like, yeah, but you're allowed to be heartbroken. You know, you're allowed to feel grief and loss. You're allowed to feel depressed for no reason. All right, observe that, sit in that. You know, that's worth examining. You're not a terrible person because of it. You know, and having that scope actually is what helps you then climb, you know, onto the journey that you want to be on. You know, obviously dwelling in it isn't great for anyone, but that's just as dangerous as like, it'll be fine, moving on. It'll be fine, moving on. Everything's great, you know, and we all know people like that, and they're brittle. They break. And that's not what we want for humane society, I would imagine.
I really appreciate that, Christopher. Yes, Rashid?
Yes, I think everybody has shared, you know, their part of the vision and, you know, how we see, you know, problems as an opportunity and, you know, things and see things through that way. But I think we are all here for a reason, you know, as Alvin said, that we are all here for a bigger purpose. So we need to realize what a bigger purpose is for us. And being vulnerable is not a bad thing. It's actually a good thing. It's being human. It's being us. So it's not always a, you know, a storyline for everything, you know, but we need to understand the actual story. So looking through the events, it gives us a great learning about ourselves. As Christopher said, that it's more about learning ourselves, learning about us, that how we behave, how we transmit that energy which is coming in from every side of it, and then how we calculate that, collect that, and then come out of that. So that is the learning, and how everybody does it very different way. People will have a very different way of, you know, managing these vulnerabilities, like David will have, because he had this, you know, went through these physical challenges and all that. So he has to come out of that and emotionally that strong to come out of those physical challenges. And same as for Isaac, you know, every time something breaks, he believes that there's something happening, but there is the actual life exists between those broken parts. And when you come out of that, the real life is is the in-betweener. When you really learn about yourself, that how would you, because it's all about you. And we just fill in those dots in the bigger universe. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. You know, I'm sitting here and listening to you and imbibing. And what I feel is like all your messages are adding on to each other and it's expanding, you know, because the greater our observation is, the more we can convert that, you know, that uncertainty, that chaos into something creative. So, you know, as I'm listening to you, when Christopher talks about observing the whole range of emotions, not selecting that, you know, I reject this emotion and I don't reject, like, you know, observing that totality. When Alvin says, you know, like, let's observe all the vibrations and where we are at, and, you know, can we expand from there? You know, when Isaac, you know, when he talks about doing that through different, you know, body hacks, you know, it's really like starting from there and going into a deeper expanded reality. You know, when David finds the courage, you know, to really change that. So I'm just loving, because, you know, sometimes depending on who you are as a vessel, we all have a different way of receiving that light and shining it back to the world. So really appreciate, because, all these different voices, they echo into different personalities who are listening to this. So thank you for that. Another question, because, there are questions coming from YouTube people as well. In a way, all of you here are success magnets in some way. And there is everyone, there are a lot of people out there who have worked hard. Even when you look at resources, all of you, even though we have not gotten into it, I can see that everyone has had different kinds of resources. And, even if people have had exact same resources, that doesn't translate into the exact same outcome. So there are all these things, but, what do you think is the secret to your success? What is it that, because everyone's trying to discover themselves, there are all these things, but what is it true for you? Like, what was your secret? If it was your child, you're going to say all these things, but here's what I'm going to share. What is your secret to success? Love to hear that.
Do you want me to go first?
Sure.
No?
Exactly.
I learned something from my late mother. She passed away a few years ago. She had this incredible way of just holding space for a person. And often people ask me, what's your secret to the fountain of youth? And how have you been able to get so busted up in your body and now be fitter and stronger and able-bodied, at almost age 60? So it's about, actually, I'll put it into context. I've always said that if you really, really give people your attention, it's one of the greatest gifts you can give, that undivided attention. And I always thought that was part of the secret of the fountain of youth. And I actually found a study where it was a meta-analysis of 70 studies, 3.4 million people, top 10 things to live a happier, healthier, longer life. So as in, you don't want to live a long life. If your body's falling apart, you're unhappy. And cut a very long story short, the usual suspects of don't smoke, don't drink too much, stay lean, exercise, don't live in a polluted environment. But they were in the middle. The top two were all about relationships. Number two was, and they were by a long shot too, number two was having a big social network, but where your heart involved. It's not just in name. But the one I love the most is what my mother embodied. And that's about really, it's called social integration. And it's basically how you relate to every single person in your day. And this is one of the hacks that I talk about. I've got a book that I'm publishing next year about all of this as well. And what it's about being totally 100% present, where you're listening to the person. Like, we're all guilty of that. Person's saying something, you're already developing what you're going to say in response, and be able to be completely 100% present. And I've also published a poetry book, and what the beginning of my new poetry book is it embodies this. And it's a very small poem, and it's called My Promise. And basically it goes like this. It's like, I will protect you. How? I will listen to you. That's it. So incredibly how you can really, really, if you really want to help a person, listen to them. And it's an ongoing thing I'll do for the rest of my life. I'll never perfect it. But I find, especially as a very up energy person, you can get very, very sort of self-possessed, and where it's sort of like, okay, I've spoken about me. Now, what do you think of me? And you're like, oh, no. It's like, no, be present, the other person, be interested in them, because you can get, a little bit too full of your own energy. Well, I find that. So that poem embodies that for me, to take a step back and really, really hold space. And one little simple hack is, if you're present with them, not on the phone, just notice the color of their eyes. So if you're talking to them, it's like, where am I really present? I walked away. I don't know what color the person's eyes were. It's just a good little test that I do. It's like, And it's like my 5 best friends, do I know the color of their eyes? Apart from being obvious if they're dark skinned or, they'd have brown eyes. But yeah, it's just a good little reminder.
Isaac, and so you said that was your message from your mother? Like she was the one who embodied that?
Yeah, she when she passed away, so many people came out of the woodwork that I didn't even know that she said she knew all their birthdays, all the kids' birthdays. She was the most wonderful, connected person. And I always knew that, but just so many people just that I didn't even know. Yeah, she would, I remember she was helping me move house, and she got the whole life story of the removalist guy and helped him with a injury his dog had, put him onto the right vet. And it's like, she was amazing. Yeah, so it was just that real amazing presence, that capturing, you know what I mean? Just that when you're really present with someone and you know that they're really present, they're not somewhere else.
Thank you so much for sharing, your personal story, and really like the study it is so amazing to know that, that listening fully to all the different elements, how that expands us. Thank you so much. And, as I'm listening to you, if I looked at you, I would not have immediately thought poet. And it's so beautiful how all these paradoxes are coming together in you. Thank you so much.
That's my mum.
Aww.
That was a bunny suit she made. She would walk down the street every Easter handing out Easter eggs. Like that was when she was 73. So yeah, pretty funny.
Thank you, Isaac. And thank you, Mom, wherever you are, Isaac's mom. Thank you.
That was beautiful.
Yeah.
I would like to add to that. That was beautiful what you shared, Isaac. And it's interesting, I've just been at a 3-day women's retreat, and one of the exercises we did was actually being fully present, as someone just shared. It's such a gift to just be fully present and just to hear someone and hold space, as you said, Isaac. I think that is really crucial. And I think also, as we listen to others, I think also it's important that we listen to ourselves and that we do the inner work. And one thing most successful people do that I know of is they meditate, right? And meditating is one way that you can access source energy, or where you center yourself and you actually slow down to speed up, as they say. It's important to slow down and to really tune in and check in with yourself. Are you on track to how you want to be in life? And it's a great question you asked there about what is the secret to success. And I don't think there's actually one secret. I think that I wish there was just one quick answer to that. But for me, it's been a whole lot of things. But one of the biggest things has been my resilience has kept me going. A lot of people have fallen off the path. I say life is like a roller coaster ride, right? Sometimes we're going to feel like we're up here. Sometimes we're going to feel down here. Sometimes we feel like we're going round and round in circles. Sometimes we're going to feel like we're going backwards. And slowing down to speed up has been really, really crucial. For me, a big thing too has been doing a lot of personal development, a lot of different courses, a lot of work on myself. I have invested about $500,000 in my personal development and business development. Hanging out with like-minded people, I think, is really crucial. This is a never-ending journey in life. It's funny. I was speaking to someone earlier. They said, "Oh, I'm happy with this one mentor I have. I don't need any other mentors." Well, I kind of disagree with that. I feel like I've had multiple mentors that I've learned things from, and mentors for different areas of life. It's interesting. Everyone has their own take on things. But for me, we're constantly learning and we're constantly teaching. And for me, a big thing too has, with that inner work and with that outer work, with doing the courses and, learning what we need to learn. And particularly in the media world, things are changing so rapidly. So we need to stay on top of our game if we're in business, right? So it's important to keep evolving and expanding and changing. Like Facebook only started in 2004, and now we've got half the world's population on social media. Like if you don't change with the times, you're going to stay behind, right? So for me, a big thing has been finding my flow and finding my zone. And in fact, my soul compass mission statement is, I am in flow and in the zone, inspiring truth and good news to lift the consciousness on the planet. I am so aligned with that, right? So finding what your soul purpose is and aligning yourself with that, whether it be through meditating or however that is, for you. For me, meditation, yoga, self-nurturing, going to the beach when I've had low moments in life. And I know as a high achiever, we're talking about success here, and success is many different things for many different people. It's not always financial success. It's about all the areas of life, right? Having balance, or as much as you can, in different areas of life. You're never going to have a completely round wheel of life, when you look at all the different areas. However, it's, and often when you put more area in business, you might, health might suffer a little bit, or family might, so you go down a bit, or so whatever it is. But just, looking at that, looking at your wheel of life. And I know as a high achiever, being go, 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 I've had this kind of adrenaline lifestyle. And being in the media for years, it's constant deadlines, go, 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 go. And then what's happened is I've crashed, right? So go, 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 crash, go, 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 crash, right? So now what happens is I tune into myself when I feel myself getting low energy, and I'll take a break. I'll go and meditate, or I'll go do some yoga, or go to the beach. So really tapping in, tuning in to what you need in any moment, and allowing yourself to nurture yourself. That has been a really huge thing for me, to actually take some time out, to slow down, to speed up.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, I'll echo the sentiment that the secret is there is no secret. And to be a little bit more cryptic, I'd say that the secret lies in the doing, not in the researching for a secret. I think if you've listened to everyone's stories here at the moment, it's like, my life started out like this, and then this happened, and then I went and did this, and then this happened, and then this happened. You'll find different passions in life. It's similar to David. Like at 19, I was training in Kung Fu. By 21, I was running the school and living there as a senior student. And I had my world, I had a home, I had a master who respected me. I was the prince of the kingdom. My master committed suicide. School collapsed. Everything crumbles around you through no fault. So Jesus, what do you do? And not fun. So I'm lucky. The journey's been a long and winding one, but to be honest, I'd only say now, sort of arriving in this space and place with everything else that I've done, does the sum total of all my parts begin to align to be greater, to be greater than the sum of their parts. Now, would this have happened any other way? Probably not. So I'm sort of lucky now that you can sort of look back at the journey and go, maybe it was worth it. It's always development. Like, you wouldn't wish it on anyone, and I'm sure we've all got circumstances that you go, gee, I was glad that happened. We learned from it. Sure, we developed from it. But it's sobering to take both with you. I think that's where wisdom lies, So you sitting around and watching other people do it is great, for research. The truth of your journey and the truth of what you want to accomplish lies in the doing. And I think for all of us, you get to that point. It's like, I can't not do this now. This is the thing that gets me up in the morning, that I have to do, that I'm driven to do, that I want to do, like regardless of the paycheck. And that's an earned place to be, which is a really nice place to be. And I think if that's your definition of success, and Dylan put it lovely, whereas a man's a success if he wakes up in the morning, goes to bed at night, and in the middle he does what he wants to do. So there's my hot take.
Thank you, Christopher.
And I 100% agree with what Christopher just said, because in a course that I'll put together, the very last step is all about execution, because you can get as many bullets as you want, you can have as many weapons as you want, but if you never pull the trigger, well, then it's, you've got all this wealth of knowledge that people will benefit from. But if you don't execute, you don't put it out there, well, then what was the point in all that lead up work to it? And along with that, a lot of things as well is about having a team around you. And this team works on quite a few different levels. They're not all carbon copies they're not all little Davies running around. We all have our own personality, and making sure that those personalities fit together to, again, create a whole unit. And it's not a bunch of yes people either. I can't stand people that just go, oh yeah, that's brilliant, when in your head, you know that it's not working. You need that reality check. And that's where a real authentic team You know your position, you know your strengths, you know your weaknesses, and you know your part in the team, the part that you play, and you keep everyone else accountable as long as they keep you accountable. And that's just my little 2 cents worth.
Thank you, David.
And last but not the least, just adding a few things from, whatever I have learned from Isaac, David, Alvin, and Christopher. Just adding to that, relationships. I really, that the things Isaac said is, holding that space, that really resonated with me. And learning does not stop. So for me, it was always about relationships. And I learned from my 2-year-old twins last year, when they were fighting with each other, and then suddenly you see that there is something just blossoms, and then they started hugging each other, start playing again, and how to overcome that that emotion. That was a great learning, how you overcome from a particular failure or from a particular vulnerability which you are feeling, is how you overcome that. Is, that was a learning from me, from a 2-year-old child. And you might be hearing their voices in the background because they are just playing with each other in the next room with a babysitter. So that's the learning. I think relationships makes you stronger, and holding that space. If become the person which holds that space, as Isaac's mom did. And we are what we consume. What we consume, well, do we consume right material, and is the material which gives us that fulfillment within and happiness? I think that is very important to know. What we eat, are we eating the healthy food? Are we eating the right food or the ethical food? That's, so all of these questions actually add up a lot of things. What we're consuming from the social media, what are we consuming from our neighbors, what are we consuming from the park when we're going there, what we're consuming when we're going to a shopping center, holding that space for other people around us. So all of that just adds up to become I think for me, the definition of success, everybody has his own definition of success, but success is when it's everybody involved in it. And everyone's success is the right success, and only that can be achieved by the when we have real fulfillment from within. Thank you so much.
Rashid, thank you. Rashid, I like what you said. There is a success which is taking from someone, and that's not really success. Real success is when everyone is winning, when everyone is being benefited, not just one person. So coming back to everyone, Isaac, I really want to thank you for sharing your mom's wisdom with us, and really of listening 100%, completely being present to everything that's talking, but completely being there. And I could feel that even when you were when you were sharing it through your body. Yes, that's how we feel when you meet someone who's all about themselves. We actually repel, we don't lean in, we go back. And I could literally feel that energy, because that's exactly what we do. So really thank you for that, Isaac. And
Can I just add one thing about what Rashid said?
Of course.
That is, I do an experiment in different workshops that I do, where I ask people to prove a point about relationships and how they're so important and sharing. I said, go to the most wonderful moment of your life, like the thing that you're in total flow, no past, no future, you were totally present and just totally in flow. And no one was at home by themselves watching TV or playing video games. It was always sharing a moment, birth of a child, a graduation. It was always with other people. It was never by themselves. So
wow, thank you so much for sharing that. Alvin, I want to thank you for bringing all your energy, and also sharing that really we invest in so many things, but what we have for all our life is us, and that's where we really need to bring the investment. whether it is through meditation, the self-development courses, whatever we're doing, really like to invest. That's the one thing you have for sure. So really thank you for that message. Christopher, I thank you for the no secret. And really like, this wisdom of really doing it in your own way, and really, like not getting stuck with the research, but really the wisdom of, your own self, because we're all living life very differently. And David, I feel like your energy, it's like, I think you're going to be the voice when I make all these plans and then I am like procrastinating. I'm going to hear you saying trigger, just go and execute it. So thank you for being that trigger, that voice in this group. And, Rashid, I think when you talk about relationships, I think even in this group, I feel that how relationships, even if we are meeting only this one moment, only for these 2 hours that we have been together, and maybe that's all, but I think there is a relationship that we have built, in just this sharing in this moment. And I feel that there are other relationships where you have a longer time or a shorter time, and you're bringing different energy and wisdom. And I feel that really holding that place for that relationship is so important. And I really thank you, for that lesson. I've written these things down, but I'm realizing that I'm so used to typing, I can't read my own handwriting. So, but thank you for sharing your wisdom. I am so honored to be with all of you today, and I feel like a student. I mean, I am a student, really imbibing all your words and your energy and your wisdom. Thank you. So before I come to the last message, we're kind of out of time, but I want to just go around, and if everyone could very, very quickly, because I'm kind of overstepping my time limits, if you could very quickly tell us how everyone listening here could connect to y'all on your different handles, if you could just go around very quickly. I know they would love to connect with you all.
Mine is isaacxavier.com, and this is going to be my book next year, collaborated with an artist, and that's the front cover.
Thank you. Wishing you the best on this journey, Isaac. Thank you, Isaac.
Very cool. And all my links are at linktree/Aldwin, or just Google me, Aldwin Media Queen. You'll find a heap of stuff. So linktree, linktr.ee/Aldwin. You'll see everything there. Thank you.
Thank you.
And mine is on LinkedIn, David Lindsay, same as with Facebook, and on YouTube, Phenom Leap, because you don't walk into a phenomenal lifestyle, you don't run into it, but you leap into a phenomenal lifestyle. So that's on YouTube. And also the website is www.phenomleap.com.au. To a phenomenal lifestyle to you all.
Thank you, David. Yes, thank you, Christopher. www.cssellers.com.
Sorry, yeah, I was going to let Rashid go.
But okay. Sorry, I thought you.
Yeah, so it's cssellers.com. You can find me on LinkedIn as christopher.s.sellers. And also, if you're interested, I've got a web series, Lockdown Creativity, on YouTube. So it's about 10 2 or 3 minute short videos on what creativity is, creative practice, how you can employ it, and a couple of card tricks as well, because I'm a fan of sleight of hand, and that's another story. But thank you for today as well. It's been a lovely, lovely session to share with all of you.
Thank you.
Yep. Thank you so much, everybody, for sharing their links. You can find me on evacuation.com. So www.evacuation.com is my website. But if you just search on Google Rashid Khan Australia, you will find pages and pages of me, because I've written a lot of articles and blogs, and there's a lot of things about what evacuation and emergency management does. So you'll find me over there as well. But I'm available on LinkedIn as well with Rashid Khan Evacuation. So look forward to seeing you all. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Before we close this session, I would like to invite you to the closing ceremony of, it's at 3:30 on track 1. It starts, and we're going to hear from, all the speakers are going to be funneled in, and really, it's a moment to feel each other as a whole. So I really invite you for that. And while we may be ending this session, it is Dr. Yugandhar's vision and Grandma Parisha's energy that really to really connect with voices on an international scale, but also take it very local. Last time when we did it for continents. This year, we are doing it for nations, and we want to go more and more local into states, into towns, and really for people themselves to take leadership of where they are living. And if this speaks to you, because what we are doing here is really bringing all the diverse voices together, uniting them so that we can raise consciousness. So really, if this speaks to you, we would love for you to be a part of the World United Council. We would love you to lead in your own community and to be part of our organizing. And if this speaks to you, please write to Marianne. We will be sending you all the certificates of appreciation. And really, I would like to end this with, I hope we all meet again. And until then, we continue to raise the consciousness. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you for being such a lovely host, Quanta.
Thank you, Rashid. And if you have any feedback or anything, please write to us. Really, listening is very important to us also. Really listening to different voices, people are different, because you all represent communities and all, and we really want to hear from you. So please reach out to us. Okay?
Thanks, Betsy. Yeah, I loved your enthusiasm and energy. It's been awesome. Helped a lot. Yeah, it's been great. Thanks.
Yes, amazing. Such an honor to be here. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Mansi. And thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Thanks.
Everyone.
Yes, thank you, one, and thank you all.
Thank you.
Well, I'll see you in a couple of weeks at your workshop.
Yeah, well, the pre-publicity sequence is online, social media masterclass is in person. So yes, love to see you at either of those or both.
For sure.
Thank you so much.
So,
Thank you.
Thank you all so much. Bye.
Yes.
About 1 hour for the closing.
You know what? I don't know. Can I take a picture with everyone?
Yeah, let's take a picture. Yeah, good
Let's
idea.
take a picture. I don't know if Atin took a picture, but I'll just take it.
I'd love one as well. I'd love to get a fun one.
Okay, I will. Are you okay if I tag you all on social media? Are you all okay?
Yeah.
Okay. So I will take a picture. Awesome.
Okay, can I just have a quick one as well? Just a quick
Yes.
one with my little snappy Tom here. Okay, here we go. So just looking up at your cameras, big smiles. Hey. Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank
Excellent.
you. Thank you all. Thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you for the wisdom.